Morning Bucknutters. It is Tuesday, October 6, 2015. There's a chill in the air. It must be the Gem City or the state of Ohio in the fall. We are joined today by Duane Long. Duane, how are you this fine morning?
Oh, man, just looking at a gorgeous sunrise here in Columbus. Absolutely beautiful sky right now, having a coffee. Getting ready to talk to you for a minute.
Little Buckeyes chatter. Believe it or not, the number one team in the country, whether they've played like it, has been a source of much consternation on our boards. And Duane, you are a regular there. You had a post yesterday that drew some interest. That's where we're going to start today. One of the main issues facing the Buckeyes, third down efficiency or lack thereof. One of the signs of a good offense and one that's got chemistry and is in a groove is effectiveness on third down. The Buckeyes were awful against Indiana, 2 for 13. Duane, talk about the third down efficiency problems, how big of a deal they are, and why you think they're taking place.
Well, I think, we're turning the ball over too much and not getting it back enough. But when you can't convert on third down, drive stall, you're punting. Can't score when you're not converting third downs. I mean, it shows that how just brutally inefficient you are. That you're in third down that often, and then you're not getting it done. You got to finish. You got to get in the red zone, put some points up, and get ready for the kickoff. And we're not doing that regularly. Come on. How do you expect to win a football game converting 2 third downs?
Do you see it as an issue more of play calling? Do you see it as an issue of players being ineffective? Do you see it as an issue of the opposing defense being better than we expected? Where do you see the source of the issue?
I think our inability to attack 8 men in a box is really driving me up a wall. We've got guys. This Urban Meyer has won 3 national championships now. We've got guys. These coaches should be able to do this. I can figure out how to attack an 8-man-in-a-box defense. Why can't this brain trust we've got running our offense figure out how to attack 8 men in a box? And you attack 8 men in a box like we did on our championship run. You throw down the field. They cannot sit in a box if you're throwing over top of them.
Everyone could see that Cardale Jones has literally as strong an arm as you're going to see. It'd be hard to watch a game on Sunday and see a guy with a stronger arm than Cardale Jones. Yet the ball is just not going downfield with regularity. Is this an issue of, like I said, is it play calling? Is it Cardale not being comfortable? Or do we miss Devin Smith more than we thought?
Regularly, I would say never. How many times have we thrown the ball down the field all season? We're not. We're throwing in the intermediate zones, and right now, with 8 men in a box, you got an extra safety sitting in the intermediate zones. No wonder it's so clogged up in there. No wonder nobody's open. We're allowing them to play too close to the line of scrimmage, so back doesn't have as much room to throw, or much room to run. And the thing is, if you throw it down the field, even if you're not completing it, and Cardale Jones, those last 3 games, completed 59% of his passes over 20 yards. If you throw it down the field, 7 touchdowns, no interceptions in only 3 games, over 20 yards, and we're not doing it. We're not throwing it down the field. If you at least throw it, the defensive coordinator is going to be in the safety's ears and saying, don't be so quick to jump into the box. Don't be so quick to jump up to play the run. Sit back there because if they throw it over top of us, it's over, and he can get it there. He can get it there throwing off his back foot. So we can't allow him to throw it over top of us. You've got to stay back. But we're not doing it. So why wouldn't the defense come up close and cut down Zeke? It's absolutely ridiculous what we're doing, and I don't understand why when we won a national championship doing just that. Throw it down the field, and you know, I have said Devin Smith did not have as big an impact on this team as some people want to think, but there was a point. Second half of last season, Devin Smith was right up there. I'm going to say this. At the end of the season, the last half of the season, Devin Smith was right up there with David Boston as a deep receiver. He was going to run by it, and they weren't going to catch him, and he was going to catch the football. He was dropping the ball earlier in his career. End of last year, Devin Smith was it. He was spot on. He was making plays for this football team. Why did we stop? Don't tell me we don't have the athletes. I'll walk away from you. I'm done with the conversation if you tell me we do not have the athletes to get down the field and get behind the defense. So it's in the coaching staff. Why we have decided not to throw the ball down the field, I don't know.
Let me play devil's advocate here for a minute. Please don't walk away. Injuries at the receiver position: Noah Brown, Paris Campbell, Johnny Dixon, Corey Smith, Torrance Gibson. Is it a case of they just don't have the deep threats?
You got Michael Thomas, who got 55 balls for you last year. Why don't you throw him the ball? And Jalen Marshall can get down the field. We got guys that can get down the field. We don't have the bigger guys that we want to get down the field. We've got Michael Thomas, but he's not the only one. We've got to put somebody out there that'll try to run, at least try to run by the defense. I think Thomas can. Throw the ball down the field. Let's get some other guys in there. We've recruited receivers. We've got guys that are sitting on the bench that will be starting elsewhere. Now, like I said, they're not split end types. We've been decimated. When we lost Noah Brown, who's probably going to play quite a bit this year, and then Corey Smith was the other guy, and now he's gone for the year. So we have been hit. But we got some guys. Gibson has got to be getting over that ankle. It's got to be coming back pretty soon. I know it's a high ankle sprain, and those things never seem to go away without a whole lot of rest. But, we look at that. They've been talking about K.J. Hill. K.J. Hill is a split end. That's what we recruited him to do. Put him in the football game. Run down the field and catch the football. That's one great thing about the split end position. You learn how to get off the line of scrimmage because you're going to be getting bump coverage. Once you do that, then it's just most of the plays. Everybody knows what a 9 route is. You're going to run a 9. Right. There are certain plays that you're going to run, and there's things you got to learn, obviously, but you can play as a split end once you learn to get off the line of scrimmage, and they're talking like he's working hard at it, and put him in the football game. Get down the football field. We're not doing what we need to do, and I don't understand why. We didn't have that much changeover. We got to get back to what we do with this quarterback. Or we need to go to J.T. Barrett. And the reason is this offense would fit J.T. Barrett. He's better throwing the ball in those short and intermediate zones, and he's got more of a threat of a run. So those wide runs that we seem to want to do with Elliott, well, if you've got JT doing the read, the zone read, well, that opens things up a little bit. You're not going to have a guy out there by himself. You got two guys out there, and the defensive end's got to make a decision. That's the beauty of the zone read. Give Cardell Jones his offense, or let's go to J.T. Barrett. J.T. Barrett run this offense. I don't understand what we're doing. These are veteran coaches. Urban Meyer is probably the best coach in America. I don't understand what we're doing. I don't understand why we're doing what we're doing. Let's either get the right offense in there or get the right quarterback in there. This is not working.
And we're going to switch subjects here, talk some recruiting, talk some Big Ten. But if you want to watch one statistic for the rest of the year that will determine Ohio State's fate, I think third down efficiency is where it's at. Jordan Fuller, we'll talk a little recruiting here. Duane is multi-talented. Jordan Fuller, the athlete, defensive back, receiver, whatever he's going to be, H-back, from New Jersey, has made a top 8. Obviously, Ohio State is in there. Ohio State has 19 recruits committed in the class of 2016, Duane. Whether Jordan Fuller is in there or not, we will see. If you could take, let's say that they're going to get 22 recruits, who would be your 3 that you would take, 20, 21, and 22?
Well, obviously, we've got the defensive tackle problem. Malik Barrow, there's a lot of concern about that leg. Let's just be honest about it. Because he really ripped that sucker up. But he looked spectacular. It looked like I wanted 2 outstanding tackles in this class, 2 guys who could step in and play, if not right away, then pretty early. Let's hope he can recover because he was looking so impressive when we saw him. The other guy, Antoine Jackson, we've got to close the deal on this guy. He is a really special defensive tackle. He's big enough already. He can step in there and play right away, and we're going to need it. So let's just be honest about what we've got. We've got Washington, who's a senior, and Shep, that's a senior, and Hale, that's a senior. We are getting ready to get hammered at defensive tackle. We're getting ready to lose a lot of football players. So let's hope that we get Antoine Jackson. He's obviously the number one guy. My number two, I've loved this kid for the longest time, is Victor Benjamin. I want more split ends. Benjamin's.
We'll take him. If he wants to change his name to Victor Benjamin, we'll take him, by the way. Go ahead, Duane.
Yeah, we'll make that arrangement here in Ohio. Kids big receivers change games. They change defenses. We're looking at it here in Ohio. We're looking at right now, look what A.J. Green is doing. A.J. Green is looking spectacular. Had it in Cleveland until he couldn't stay away from alcohol. I'm trying to remember his name.
Josh Gordon.
Josh Gordon. Look at what when he was 2 years ago, Josh Gordon was maybe the best receiver in the NFL. Those big guys that can get down the field, big athletes that can go over top of the defense. They're going to take the ball away from smaller defensive backs. Those guys, they're invaluable. That's why they go at the top of the draft. So Victor is a guy that I really want in this class. He's so impressive on film, just making those kind of over-the-top plays. Big athletic guy, looked great when he came up here. He's a kid I really want in this class. And the third one is Fuller. Fuller can do so much. We keep talking about him as a defensive back, maybe moving to linebacker, but where I love him with the ball in his hands. The guy makes things happen. He's a bigger kid, probably play split end, if not grow into a tight end, or an H-back. He's not going to grow into a full-blown tight end. That guy right there, those are the three guys. When you get that kind of versatility on an 85-man roster, and I don't care what anybody says, that's not enough scholarships. That guy right there that you can say, okay, I'm plugging him here, I'm plugging him there, and just move him around and find a place where you need and you know that this guy's going to step up as well as anybody you could recruit. That's what you want. Outstanding athlete. Love that kid. He would be my third that I would take.
It's a very impressive trio for sure. The beauty of it is, I think, I'll just say my own personal opinion, I think they're going to get 2 and 3. I do think they're going to get Benjamin Victor and Jordan Fuller. Antoine Jackson, I would love for them to get him. I just have a hard time believing the kid's going to choose us over Auburn, but we will see. We're going to finish with Duane showing his extreme versatility. You've seen Ohio State team chatter, recruiting chatter. Now Duane is going to turn into Big Ten pundit. Been a lot of chatter about the Big Ten. Some teams who maybe some thought weren't as good heading into the season or better than we expected. Duane, give us your rankings of the Big Ten right now, regardless of record or anything like that. Just who the 5 best teams on the Big Ten now, going 5-1, starting with your number 5 team in the Big Ten.
One thing I got to say about the Big Ten, do you know how many teams have 1 loss or less? There are 4 undefeated teams in the Big Ten and 4 with 1 loss. So off to a pretty good start. I mean, in previous few years, what have we been talking about at this time? We've been talking about the fact that the Big Ten got our butts kicked in the I don't want to call it preseason schedule, the out-of-conference schedule.
Yep.
Yeah, non-conference games, the Big Ten really took it on the chin. But this year, wow, not nearly so bad. So I'm going to start at the back, starting at number 5. This was a tough decision, but I have to go with Michigan over Indiana. Michigan has allowed 38 points this year, 38 points in 5 games. They've won 4 in a row. 2 weeks ago, I was pretty impressed with them. When Spielman said they were a top 10 team, I didn't know about that, but I thought they were, I said he's at least seen that this is a better team than what we've seen. They're organized. They play efficiently. They're going to run it right at you. They're going to do what Jim Harbaugh does. and he's got them going. 38 points allowed. So I had to take them over Indiana. Indiana's scored 180 points, but they've allowed 162, and we should not have had as much trouble with them as we had. So that was my final dilemma there. Number 4, I'm going with Illinois. This is a team that people are not paying attention to. Dave Biddle was one that brought my attention to him, and I started doing a little research on him. And Illinois is the 4th highest scoring team in the Big Ten. They've actually scored more points than Michigan State. And they've allowed 89. So they're right in the middle as far as points allowed. They're 4-1. I would slide Illinois in there at number 4. Number 3 is Northwestern, and they're number 3 with a bullet. Northwestern has allowed 35 points. I watched them play against Stanford. I saw one other game. I can't remember off the top of my head. Northwestern is impressive. They're a tough, fast defense. Not a real big bunch, but they're getting there. They got a bunch of playmakers, guys that come up, a couple of excellent safeties. Northwestern is a very good football team. I'm going to be surprised if they don't win the Big Ten West. So they would be my number 3. Also scored 127 points. So Northwestern, they're it's not like they got to hold you down to win. They can score some points. Good football team. Number 2 is going to be Michigan State. Michigan State is not as good as they were last year. They're just not, but they're still an awfully good football team. And of course, Buckeyes are going to be number 1. We're still the best team in the country. Here's the thing that I wish fans would look at. Right now, we're so frustrated that we don't look like the juggernaut that we were at the end of the season last year, with so many players back that we were number 1 unanimously, and that's never happened before. So, fans are just a little bit frustrated with that. We're still number 1, and we should be number 1. 4 teams got beat. 4 top 10 teams got beat last week, and Michigan State, Purdue's got the ball driving for a what would be a winning touchdown last week. So it could have been 5, and even with us, could have been 6. It was just one of those weekends when a lot of things did not go right for a lot of teams. But that's my top 5. If I had 6, I would throw Indiana on there because I think they're a better football team than what we thought going in. Again, Dave Biddle was on that one. He tried to tell me that they're going to be tougher. They're going to be a tougher out than I thought they were going to be.
You guys want versatility in your staffers. We have that in Duane. Did a little team, did a little recruiting, did a little Big Ten. We're going to try and have Duane on as many Tuesdays as we can. Duane, thanks for the effort, brother.
Good talking to you. Enjoy a beautiful morning.